So I'm really interested in time at the moment, and I remember I saw an illustration of the space-time continuum in some low-budget sci-fi movie somewhere, or I don't know, I can't remember where I saw it, but he, some scientist is asked to explain the space-time continuum, and he takes a piece of paper and he says that this. He holds the paper up and says, "This is time." And then he makes a hole with a pencil in one end and says, "This is point A." And then he makes a hole in the other end with the same pencil and he says, "This is point B." And he says, "What's the quickest way between point A and point B?" And everyone goes, "Well, just go straight from point A to point B." And he goes, "No, that's not the quickest way." And he puts the pencil through point A and folds the piece of paper so that point B also goes onto the paper to the pencil tip. And he says that's the quickest way between point A and point B, zero. And that was a theory going around science for a long time. Quantum science. They were talking about string theory and bending time, and I think on some level they believed it. And then just a few years ago, Hawkins debunked the whole theory and said it was all rubbish. But I held on to that theory because I think, okay, maybe it doesn't apply to life and reality, but it does apply to art and artists. I mean, because like I can bend as an artist. I can totally bend time. I can be in the future and then I can go right back to the past again or to the present. So I'm always bending time. Um, there was this moment in my life where my mother took me to see Paris, Texas, and I was 7 years old, and going to a movie at that age was a big event anyway. But this was made even bigger because there was a scene where Nastasia Kinski was wearing a pink mohair sweater, and mohair is so photogenic. It's probably the most photogenic kind of fabric textile there is, and it's got these wispy little tendril hairs on it. And this mohair sweater was neon pink, just screamed across the ages, and I was it just burned itself into my retina, into my memory core, and it's like I've never forgotten that pink mohair sweater, and so I can instantly be in the past, and I can instantly be in the future because of I'll think about something I'm working on, and I can be there at the completion of the work, and most of the time that work never gets completed, but I've been to the future, I've seen that work. And so I'm really interested in time and how that works, how decisions affect time, and basically what I'm really interested in is how we get to the present from the past or the future, and like for instance, like I can tell you how I got here today. I was in New York and I had taken kind of a year off. I'd made a decision, a conscious decision, that I wanted to be a successful commercial artist, as in not making commercials, but as in making fine art for the gallery system. And so I decided to take a year off, and I used my dad's studio, and I wanted to put together a body of work that I could then take to the galleries. And so I did that for a year and worked, every day. Saw it kind of like a job, and it was quite a luxury that I could do something like that. I don't know how that happened, but I did it, and at the end of the year, just about, I just called my dad and I said, could you come give me a studio visit and tell me if I'm ready? And my dad came, gave me an hour, and at the end of it, he said, "Yeah, you're done. You're ready. You're good. You're good to go." So in that year, I'd been considering what galleries I would go see, and then at the end of the day, there was really only one gallery that I was interested in showing with, being represented by. So I put together. I called the dealer, Jose Bienvenu, and her gallery is 123 Watts. I called her up, asked if I could drop by and show her some work, and she said yes. So we sort of set a time, and I put together a portfolio of really kind of portable, accessible work, also that could show my what was going on in my head. And I took it all to her gallery, and she took me into the back to her office, and I sat down. I showed her all the work, and then I sort of was waiting, as you do for whatever judgment, and she didn't say a word. So I started to pack up the drawings and the work that I'd brought, and still nothing. And I sort of stood up, like as you do, and you're like, and still she didn't say a word. And she basically let me leave her office without saying a word, or maybe she said thank you and goodbye or something. I didn't even think she did really. So I left, and I was like in a state of shock. I remember I don't even remember getting home because I just sort of was like left her gallery in a state of shock and just walked. And I realized right then and there, first of all, that I was never going to let anything like that happen again. I was never going to let anybody have that kind of power over me. But that rejection, that major kind of life-changing rejection, is how I stand before you now.